What is up, everybody? It's Chris, aka Unnecessary Roughness, aka Bass Daddy. Just here to introduce some tutorials that I'm going to be doing very, very soon, and just wanted to basically explain what's going on. I've had my music project now for about a year. I've been producing since 2004. But with this particular project, Unnecessary Roughness, I was able to release just about 90 songs. I'm at 87 now by the end of August. I'm going to try and push it to 90, but we'll see. And I'm on track to hit a million plays on Soundcloud by the end of August as well. Probably not even. I have 20,000 plays on Spotify and about 5,000 followers on Spotify. And so I basically wanted to share my technique for producing music because people ask me all the time how I do it. So I think it's a little unique. There's definitely some things I've learned from Ilgate's producer dojo. A lot I've learned from there. But I've taken that and I've tweaked it and kind of made my own way of producing music. So the first thing that is super important is to create a sample pack. And what I've done is I've built my own sample pack, which I will show you guys here in a second, out of my own signature sound, which is unique. It uses all Ableton native plugins, and I take that. I'll have certain sessions where all I do is sampling and make loops and things like that, and then other sessions where I actually produce a track, and then a third, I guess, would be for mastering, mixing and mastering and stuff. But in terms of production, there's the two main sessions that I do. So just jumping into Ableton here. Let me just make this smaller screen. There we go. So yeah, just jumping in here. This is my template Ableton project. A lot of the things that I'll explain to everybody, you can do in any DAW. It doesn't really matter. Some of the when it comes to racks, like racking things, that is, I think, Ableton exclusive. I'm not sure about other DAWs, but a lot of the techniques you can use in any DAW. It doesn't matter. What I've done here is I have on my template a pre-master and a pre-master for vocals, and then I also have a pre-master for my returns. And all that's on that channel is the master sauce rack that I got from Whole Loops. Shout out to Whole Loops, they're awesome. So make sure you check them out. And a limiter, and that's for every pre-master. Then I break it down into, so this would be, I guess, the meat. Within the meat, I have a drum, bass, instruments, and effects channels. And I'll probably add some here and there when I need them. But on every channel, you'll notice I have this mini dynamics rack, which all it is really is an EQ8, a low cut, a blue compressor. I've mapped the threshold and the makeup, and a limiter. Oh, I've also, I guess, I've also done the dry wet here, the gain from the limiter and the limiting. So that's just something that, I kind of realized I needed on every channel. Then, for example, like on the drums, I'll have the drum sauce again from Whole Loops. On my bass, I have side chaining, disrespectful sauce again from Whole Loops, and the dynamics, and that as we go down here, effects again is broken down into more groups. You'll notice I have a lot of groups. The reason I have a lot of groups is because I do gain staging through the groups. So every time there's a group, it'll have that mini dynamics on it, and I can just gain stage it a little bit as the groups go up, basically. And then by the time they hit the pre-master, they only need a little bit of limiting. And on my master, I have no limiting. I do have a limiter on there right now, just for my production template, just to make sure I don't peak. But at the end of the day, when I'm mixing down and mastering, there's no limiters on my master channel. Um, for my vocals, you'll see a lot of groups here, but I'll have my lead vox here with a gate, lead vocal sauce from Whole Loops, dynamics again, and we'll just go all the way up. Now, a lot of the times when I have a lead vocal, I like to use Isotope's Nectar 3. I use a lot of Isotope VSTs. They are honestly, in my opinion, the best VSTs that you can get out there. That's just my opinion. But and yeah, they are expensive. But what I do is I wait till something to go on sale. For example, they just put RX8 on sale, and I got RX8 intro or whatever it's called for, I think it was $9. Then they had a sale for crossgrade between the intro and standard for $90, which was like $200 off. And I just kind of be patient and wait. And so now I have pretty much everything that Isotope makes, and I use it all every day. So I have Nectar, Neutron, Ozone 8, Ozone 9, RX8, Standard, the vocal synth. I have literally everything from Isotope, pretty much, and they're not paying me. No one's paying me at this point, but I'm a big fan of Isotope plugins. So yeah, that's kind of like a quick run through of my production template. Oh, I guess down here, these are all just parallel compression. So on every single one, I have a solid bus comp from Native Instruments. And those all feed here into this one pre-master return. So yeah, checking out my sample pack is here. This is something I've worked on for the last year. And it's got just everything you would find in a regular sample pack that you would buy somewhere, but I've created everything inside of it. So for example, these Ableton racks, I have drum kits, grooves for the groove pool. I call them my spice racks here, but these are all different racks that I use all the time. So vocal racks, time and space, resampling, miscellaneous, dynamics, drums, busing, aux busing, all sorts of racks in there. And I'm going to make this available on my Patreon fairly soon. And yeah, vocal chop racks, all sorts of stuff that are just basically instruments that or effects that I can just throw in. Everything else is samples. So for example, my loops, I have bass loops, full drops, synth loops, the new noise, which is my signature sound. Let's show you here. So yeah, that's, pretty much full on loops that are ready to go. I can just chuck those in the track. A lot of times I'll start with a vocal loop that I've got, but once I have that root key, I can take a loop, chuck it in, and I'm ready to go. So I'll just adjust this really quick. Then I can chuck a drum rack in or whatever, and because I've got everything ready to go, I can easily just throw this into my bass group, my leads, and it's ready to go. So everything here you'll see is at -10, and then as it goes up through the chains, it'll get gain staged. I have to fix this template and make sure that there's here, but you know, so I can chop this up. I can move things around, whatever I want to do with this later, doesn't matter. But I can get an idea out for a track in like 5-10 minutes. Then yeah, so moving along here, I've got things like glitch. Which is, I've made a lot of that with Isotope Stutter Edit, 1 and 2, I have both. I also have a file of one shots. Bunch of MIDI. A lot of the MIDI I use for resampling. Stems for tracks are in here. Vocals. So what I do is I sample a lot of things from the internet, and I have a lot of awesome friends who will record vocals for me, and just like cool fun vocal samples. A lot of times I'll tell them what I want, or they'll just come up with stuff. It's awesome. So for example, my good friend Darcy, which does a lot of stuff for me. She's amazing. She's made all the "Fuck Me Up Bass Daddy" samples.
Fuck me up, Bass Daddy. Fuck me up, Bass Daddy. Unnecessary roughness. Fucking garbage trucks. Bass Daddy.
So she's done a lot of those, which is amazing. I've vocoded some of them.
Unnecessary roughness.
My good friend Josh as well has done a bunch.
Yo, is a Bass Daddy. Sheesh.
He's done all my sheeshes.
What the fuck is even going on, dude?
And I know, like with Darcy, she records them on her phone. Josh, I think, has a microphone, and they just send me those raw files, and I fix them up a little bit and put them on there. My cat Brogan.
Back for Brogan. Check the mic.
So that's my friend Max as well, who's done a bunch of really good stuff for me as well.
You're upset.
Unnecessary shish kebab. Ooh. Louder, son. Louder, bitch. Fucking.
So he's done a bunch of great stuff for me on there. And then yeah, just stuff off the internet. I've done a lot of, and it makes it more unique. So it's fun for my friends to be involved, and then they check out the tracks and do themselves on it. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. I'm at like 8 gigs of samples that I've created. So I'm actually starting on version 2 of my sample pack, and I may just put out this sample pack on my Patreon. So that's kind of my first little tutorial here. I'm just gonna go quickly over this template, which is my resampling template. So that's another thing that's going to be super important for my process is resampling. And I'll probably go a little bit more in depth on another video, but resampling is basically taking a sound out of a synthesizer or drum machine or anything. It can be virtual, it could be hardware, and then rendering that to a wave file, and then taking that wave file and manipulating it instead of doing all these automations on the synth, which is going to, for one, take up way more CPU usage, and two, is less unique in my opinion. You can do way more with the wave file. You can reverse it, you can stretch it, you can do all sorts of pitch shift it way easier than on the synth. And I don't think synths are designed to have 14 serum channels, like where you make little changes in each one and automate things. Like what I do is I will record out as many different automations as I can, as many different variations from that sound as possible over sometimes 30 minutes in a wave file, and then I'll chop that up, rearrange things, resample it sometimes, render that to a WAV file, and that's how I make my loops. And it's if you want a unique sound, that's the best way of doing it. So this is my resampling template, I guess you could say. And so I have, let's go put in some MIDI here. Sharp minors. Just to quickly show you guys, and I'll go more in depth on another tutorial here, but this is what I'll normally do is I will take at least try and just keep it to 1 or 2 octaves. This is 3, so let's get rid of those. Let's bring these down. Okay, so now I have 2 octaves. And what I'll do is I'll duplicate my set of MIDI that I have, bring it up in the next one, duplicate it again, bring it up in the next, consolidate that, and I'll at least have that duplicated again. Have lots of different variations. And then in here this is my signature sound rack that I've built. I've got the synth here. The signature sound is actually all effects that I add to any sound that I want. Frequency splitter and a mini dynamics, and that all goes down to this other channel down here on resample. And I'll just show you quickly. All set up properly. Yep. So I'll go through here and I'll just make a bunch of sounds, a bunch of noise, and resample it from there. Let's check that out real quick. So, you know, that's a bunch of noise. And so what we do, bring this down here. And then on the cutting board, we're just going to take sounds that we like. Create a new channel down here usually. And I'll just kind of slowly together kind of thing. Yeah, when this is audio, you can hit times divided by 2 here, and it just timing up. Turn it off a little. And there you could have like a quick loop right there, and I'll sometimes just down here add a drum, simple drum beat. I like to use the Go. They have them all laid out in stripped drum loops. Awesome. Something to kind of listen to with it. Oh, I guess I didn't use that particular one. On 3. They're just like nice and not much to them. It's just kick and snare and gives you something to work. So just kind of for the purpose of this quick little tutorial, which is now, I guess, going to be 20 minutes long. That's the basic intro to this. So in my next tutorial, I'm going to go more in depth onto the resampling process, and I'll probably make this about 5 or 6 different videos all the way to the end, and we'll make a track at the end of the day or something. So if you like what we got so far, let me know. Hit like, subscribe. If you have a cool technique you use for production, I would definitely love to hear from you. Comment, reach out on any kind of social media, and I definitely want to check out any kind of resampling or production techniques that you may have that are unique. So yeah, I hope you guys learn a little bit today. Peace out. Love ya.